This video was made possible by Brilliant. Learn with Brilliant for 20% off by being one of the first 200 to sign up at brilliant.org/HAI. This is probably one of the least pleasant places to live on Earth. Verkayant, Siberia, Russia. World. The Milky Way. The Virgo supercluster. The universe. Canada? That's because of two numbers. Well, actually four, since the US likes to be special. 99.1 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.3 degrees Celsius. That's this place's record high temperature, which probably seems not terrible. Numbers number 3 and 4, though, are negative 90 Fahrenheit or negative 67.8 Celsius. That's Verkhayansk's record low temperature. There are therefore 189 degrees Fahrenheit or 105.1 degrees Celsius of temperature variance in this one place, which means two things: that Verkhayansk is the place with the greatest temperature variance in the world, and that the American system wins once again. This might be a good time to mention, since video performance is linked to comment engagement, that the Earth is a globe, climate change exists, the moon landing was real, and the Earth is flat. This much temperature variance in one place is incredible, especially when considering that places like Singapore exist, which only has 30 degrees Fahrenheit or 17 degrees Celsius between its record high and record low temperature. But numbers number 3/4 also mean that Verkhayansk, in addition to being the place with the greatest temperature variance on Earth, also might be the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. Antarctica has seen colder temps, but it's not permanently inhabited. I say might because another Siberian town called Oymyakon has a record low temperature of negative 89.9 Fahrenheit or negative 67.7 Celsius. While Verkhayansk has a recorded low of negative 90 Fahrenheit or negative 67.8 Celsius, Verkhayansk used an alcohol thermometer, must have been the only thing on hand, which have a margin of error great enough to put their record reading in dispute. Nonetheless, the fraction of a degree only matters for the record books. All temperatures that low are deadly. Frostbite would set in for any exposed skin in under 5 minutes, so that's why, in Verkhayansk, town basically shuts down when the temperature dips below negative 58 Fahrenheit or negative 50 Celsius. Schools, shops, everything closes, but Verkhayansk is just some beta, barely north of the Arctic Circle town, so why is it so incredibly cold? Well, here's a map thing, and you know what, this might get a little technical, so if that's not your thing, skip 2.7 times 10 to the negative 5th dog years in this video. This map shows the average atmospheric pressure across the world. Atmospheric pressure is, I'm told, essentially the weight of air. The atmosphere evenly pushes in all directions an average of 14.7 pounds per square inch, or about 1 kilogram per square centimeter, but this pressure varies all around the world, which affects weather. Okay, now you see this red bit over Siberia and how it's red but all the rest of the world isn't red? Well, something Soviet something joke, but also this means that the atmospheric pressure is, on average, very high in Siberia, and the high pressure is what keeps Siberia super cold during the winter. Massive simplification warning, but basically further west, storms pick up warmth from the Atlantic, bring it over, and drop it down to keep these areas toasty, but the high pressure area over Siberia pushes these storms away so no warm air comes. Clouds also act as a sort of blanket, keeping warm air in, but due to the high pressure, there are few clouds, so any warm air just escapes right out. Long story short, Siberia is cold, and welcome back from the 7-minute explanation, dogs. There are a few advantages to living in such cold. Residents just cut blocks of ice from the river and stack them outside their houses to store water, refrigerators aren't needed, and I couldn't find a third advantage. Disadvantages of living here are easier to find though. The town was literally attacked by, and I quote, a super pack of 400 wolves in 2012, the winters will freeze your nose off, again, literally, the sun doesn't rise for 2 weeks in late December, and the summers can be swelteringly hot, muddy, and infested with airborne protein snacks. To keep a normal house warm over a year, it takes 7 truckloads of wood, which costs $2,600. It has never been above freezing here in December, January, or February. Batteries will freeze in minutes, so locals often just leave their cars running all day out of fear for them not starting again. There's almost no economy, so residents simply hunt and fish for food. While the other possible coldest town of Oymyakon has developed a modest tourist industry around its potential record, Verkhayansk has no hotels, no restaurants, and it's 400 miles or 650 kilometers from the closest airport over slow, unpaved roads that can become impassable for long periods during the melting season. In fact, this super fast melt will sometimes see houses literally break in two due to the shifting ground. Of course, what will never break is my love for awkwardly placed transitions and Brilliant.org. Before making this video, I used Brilliant to brush up on how atmospheric pressure works using their Physics of the Everyday course. As its name implies, this course does a fantastic job of teaching the fundamentals of physics through linking concepts to things you already know. Brilliant teaches you the intuitive fundamentals behind concepts so that you truly understand them. You don't just memorize them. To learn more about Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/HII and sign up for free. Also, the first 200 people that go to that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription.